Okay, hi everyone. Today we are going to learn about the periodic table. We'll see how all the elements are arranged and what it tells us about them. So here what we will cover for today is what a periodic table looks like, what the atoms look like inside, what makes metals and non-metals different from each other, and how elements become more or less reactive. Okay, so the periodic table puts elements in order based on their atomic number. This means the number of protons. So atomic number means the number of protons. You need to know that. This helps us group elements with similar properties. So the elements that are grouped together have the same properties, like are they dull, are they shiny, and so forth. Okay, so each element has its own box. Inside the box, you'll find the chemical symbol, like O for oxygen, the atomic number, how many protons is in it, that's what atomic number means, and the atomic mass, that is the protons plus the neutrons. And till today, there are 118 known elements so far, and they are all placed on the periodic table. A row on the table is called a period. As you go from left to right, the atomic number increases by one each time. So as you can see there with hydrogen, the H, it has a 1 on top of it. So that's the atomic number. So if you go right, what will you see? You will see helium, it has a 2. And as you can see, the atomic number increased. A column is called a group. Elements in the same group act the same because they have the same number of electrons on the outside of the atom. We call them valence electrons. Okay, so let's zoom in. Each element is made of tiny particles called atoms. We'll look at how electrons are arranged inside each element. So here you can see the electronic structure. So electrons move around the atom in areas called shells. We can draw electrons as dots or crosses. Here in this case, it's crosses. These shells are also called energy levels. So the electron wait. So basically, electrons just move around the what do you call it? The shells of the electron of the atom. So how many electrons can go in each shell? Here are the rules. So in the first shell there's only 2 electrons, in the second shell 8 electrons, in the third shell 18 electrons, and in the fourth shell 32 electrons. And I want you please to pause the video and write these rules down of how many electrons can go in each shell, because you need to know this is very important for drawing the structure. We find the shells from the inside out. So as you can see here, the most inner shell, this is the first shell, and then the last one will be then the fourth. So it's first shell, second shell, third shell, and fourth shell. And yes, they can go bigger, they can have 6 shells and so forth, but for your level and grade, you don't need to know that by now. So let's do this example of oxygen. So we can see oxygen has 8 electrons. So the first shell we fill in with 2. Okay, we've filled it in. In the second shell, we'll put the other 6, because 6 plus 2 is 8, and we need 8 electrons. So now we've drawn the electronic structure of oxygen. So here you can see the electronic structure under the step 2 of the second shell. Okay, guys, so let's do a quick activity. So let's try it. Can you draw lithium, sodium, and potassium? Um, Write down their electron numbers too, please. Don't forget that. And what do you notice about the last electron? So again, I want you to pause the video, try that on your own, follow the steps that we did here, and as well here, and then try and do this activity. Okay. After you're done, then you can play the video and you will see the answer key. So here's what you should have seen. If you didn't draw it like that, that's fine. Just look at your answers. For instance, lithium, does it have three atomic numbers? Is your diagram of the atom more or less the same? For stuff like that, you can mark on. Okay, and then you have to notice all three elements have one electron on the outside. As we move down the groups, the numbers of the shell increases. That's why they're all in group 1. So if you haven't noticed yet, all of them are in group 1. Okay, if we go back to our slides, we can show you, I can show you that you can see for yourself that all these elements are in group 1. Lithium, sodium, and potassium are all in group 1, as you can see here. I just want to go back to your answers, as you can see, and this is how we're going to know our answers are correct. Let's look at metals and non-metals. So let's compare them. Metals are shiny, bendy, good conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, and where non-metals are dull, break easily, and poor conductors of heat and electricity. That's why some items in your home are made of metals and the others are non-metals, because it is for what they are being used for. You can't make a pot for your gas stove out of wood or plastic, because either it will set on fire or melt. But you can't but you can use a metal pot or pan to make food out of, and use plastic or wooden handles so that you can't burn easily, because they are not so good conductors of heat, if it makes sense. Again, with electric wire, it's covered with plastic because it's bad conductors of electricity, so electricity can't go through it and then you can't shock. I hope this makes sense, guys. Let's look at metal reactivity trend. So as we go down group 1, metals become more reactive. Why? The outer electron gets farther from the nucleus and it is easier to lose. On the right, you can see the examples of lithium, sodium, and potassium again, as we use them as examples of metals. Let's compare the non-metal reactivity. So we are going to look at non-metals now, like for instance, group 7, halogens. Elements become less reactive as you go down. Fluorine is the most reactive because it can grab an extra electron easily. Lower down, the atoms get bigger and it's harder to pull in new electrons. So I put up another video that explains this more in depth, but this is basically just summarized for you. Okay, so another learning check. Fill in the table. Let's test what you've learned. Pause the video and fill this table in first, and then if everyone's done, play again and I will show you the answers. Check your answers here. Great job if you got them all right. If not, don't worry. We're learning together. So just go practice it more and more and more, and you will be fine for exam. But remember, try to get all these answers correct. This is a very easy marks to get for your exams and tests. Okay, so let's summarize this quickly and see what we have learned today. So, elements are organized by atomic numbers, periods are rows, and groups are columns. Elements are in the same group behave similarly, not always the same, but similar. Metals and nonmetals have different properties. Reactivity changes in groups. In different ways, and if anything is unclear, please feel free to ask me at any time. I'm here to help you. You can also go watch the videos on Google Classroom for extra help, and to understand the work even better to get the highest mark possible. Good luck, you guys, and please also remember, I'm saying it again, ask me anytime, and just remember this is only practice, 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 and listen to videos like this over and over and over again to make sure you know all your